Thank you, Mr President. I rise to acknowledge the passing of Dr Rosemary Crowley, the former South Australian Labor Senator, and I thank the mover for putting this motion on the notice paper so that we had this opportunity to mark Rosemary Crowley's passing. Rosemary, of course, was born in Melbourne in 1938, and she won several scholarships throughout her schooling and university life, allowing her to work as a doctor in the early 1960s. She then moved to Berkeley, California, with her husband, where they lived for a couple of years. During this time, Rosemary trained as a children's and family counsellor and lived within the civil rights, anti-Vietnam War and women's rights movements era. You could see the impacts being surrounded by this political climate on Rosemary's work throughout her career. Upon her return to Australia, she moved to Adelaide, joined the Labor Party, and around the time of the election of the Whitlam government in 1972 became capital P political. Rosemary was elected in 1983 to the Senate under the Hawke government. It took a month to finalise the counting, as she was the final senator elected at number 5 on the ticket. And yes, that's not a typo. That is how many senators they used to elect back then. By 1996, she was number 1 on the ticket. Rosemary has said that there was a clear connection between her work in the medical field and her work in the Parliament. She said, and I quote, "My medical work was very much highlighting ill health no individual doctor could solve. There was a lot of ill health, unemployment, a lack of transport. Politics seemed the arena where decisions could be made to try and solve these problems." End quote. During her time in the Senate, she was instrumental in the passing of the Sex Discrimination Act, and certainly I remember those debates, those outrageous debates where spurious claims were made about, not necessarily the sky falling in, but, the end of the world as we knew it under the passage of the Sex Discrimination Act. And guess what happened? We stopped having discrimination so much on the basis of sex. A good outcome, one would think. She also supported the women's camp at Pine Gap, again, good on her, advocated for several health and social welfare reforms such as Medicare and childcare, and she publicly spoke out against the Hawke government's move to introduce a Medicare co-payment back in 1991. That co-payment was introduced but quickly abolished by the Keating government the following year, on the right side of history. She was a minister in the Keating government. She served as a Minister for Family Services and Minister assisting the Prime Minister for the status of women. As Minister, childcare was a priority, and Rosemary Crowley introduced legislation for cash rebates for childcare and home childcare allowance, groundbreaking stuff at the time. She retired from capital P politics in 2002. Rosemary was the 4th woman to be elected to the federal parliament for South Australia and the only woman Labor senator from South Australia during her nearly 20 years in the Senate. She was the first woman minister from South Australia, and she was rightfully recognised as a pioneer amongst her colleagues and frequently argued for initiatives that would lead to more women being elected, knowing it is a matter of justice, it is a matter of equity, and it is also a matter of best practice, to choose her well-worn words. In 2015, Rosemary Crowley was appointed an Officer of the Order of Australia for distinguished service to the Federal Parliament and for promoting the status of women. Women in this country are better off due to the amazing work of Rosemary Crowley. My thoughts are with her family, her friends and loved ones. She was and is a true icon. I was honoured to have met her. I'm honoured to have lived under a time where she made such great leaps forward, and long may they continue.